Hello everyone. In last episode, we generated the entire front end of an application, but it looked very boring. So in this episode, we're gonna upgrade the UI and UX completely to make it look like a premium application, and we're gonna turn this in something like that. We're also gonna add the Nano Banana API key and make the app fully functional. Make my hair purple, make me very, very sad, potentially cry. And look at that. Follow along and let's dive right into it. Let's have a quick look where our thumbnail generator is at the moment. We have on top the 3 modi. So in iterate mode, there's actually a placeholder, but as you can see, it's way too small and doesn't have the right aspect ratio. Then if I click on create a thumbnail, there's only the field for the prompt. So we're completely missing the placeholder or the preview for our thumbnail. And the same is true for the YouTube URL section. So in the first step, what we want to do is create a nice preview and placeholder for our thumbnail. Also, if we look down here, the variants are not shown very nicely. They are in the wrong aspect ratio. And second, I want them to be living under this placeholder here for our thumbnail and preview. So that's the first thing we're going to fix. Let's dive right into Cursor and see how we can upgrade the experience. First, I will start our Claude agent in our terminal. Very good. Before we let the agent execute, I want him to review the current state of our code first and get familiarized what he needs to do. So we are planning to do a major UI UX update on the current state of the thumbnail generator. Before we do so, I want you to get familiarized with the code and get a good understanding where we stand right now. Let me know when you have done that so we can then plan the first steps on executing and improving the experience. Let's send this off. It's always good to let the agent do some research and planning before we actually go in the execution step. So that's what we're going to do now. Let him get familiarized with the code, then formulate a plan, and then we're going to execute step by step. The cursor agent has finished to explore our code base and investigated the structure for the UI UX components and its functionality. All right, very good. I think the agent is now knowledgeable and ready to think about how to solve our problems. The first layout issue that I want to solve is I want to create a big preview centerpiece for our thumbnails in the aspect ratio of 16:9. It should have a considerable size, maybe around 800 pixels could be good. And I want you to get rid of the current iteration grid. This episode is going to be a really fun one. We're going to transform our a little bit dull looking app into a really modern looking application that people would like to use and enjoy. I'm very curious to see the transformation. Perfect. I've completed the layout update. Here's what I did. Changes I made to the file, large centerpiece, replace varying grid. Let's have a look. Okay, I saw that you created a nicely sized and big preview of our thumbnails. However, you also zoomed in and made everything else much larger, which was not the intention. It's going to be a big step. Let's see if the agent can execute. That's the new upgrade already. I see we're going in the right direction. I can upload and drag and drop here. I think it's nice. Maybe it's even slightly too big. I can create from scratch. Then I'll see here a prompt. Not bad. I kind of like it. YouTube URL, I can just upload from the YouTube URL. The problem I see is that we're going to need a prompt for every section, because even if we iterate, we'll need a prompt. I want this to be slightly smaller. It's still too big. This one looks decent. Down here, the inputs, they seem fine for now. Let's go back and give Claude this feedback. All right, big progress. We are getting very close how I envisioned it. Now, the preview window of the thumbnail is slightly too big. We can increase it by 15-20%. Also, the prompt window needs to be below that preview, because in either mode, if I want to iterate an existing file or I want to generate a new file, I will need to be able to prompt. So that should go below the big preview window. I also liked in the drag and drop kind of the outline line where it shows where the thumbnail will go. I think we can add that to all the screens as well. Again, big steps. Just move the prompt container below and then downsize a little bit, and then we're good to go. Okay, let's see. I think with this, we're gonna be very happy now. All right, the agent has made all the upgrades. Let's have a look. And there you go. Now I love the size. I love the button here. Great from scratch. That looks also fantastic. Very nice. And here I can add a YouTube URL. I have my prompt here that I can type. I think that looks good. The generation history will appear here. And here down here are general settings, title, primary colors. The layout looks very, very nice now. Okay, chapter 2. I'm actually very happy how we're progressing and getting very excited how this app is starting to look. In this chapter, we're going to quickly upgrade the color picker. We're going to use our freshly opened Claude agent, and we're going to let him know of our plan. All right, we are in the process of improving the UI UX of my thumbnail generator app. And what I want to do now is I want to upgrade the color selector. Currently, there are several main colors that you can choose from. However, I want it to be a gradient screen to be able to really dial in your brand colors. Also, I want the application to start with no color selected, because this is an optional feature if someone wants to add brand colors into their thumbnail. So please make it optional, no color selected, and let's improve to a gradient schema. The agent is thinking, it's checking the files. I'll help you upgrade the color picker and make it optional. Let's explore the code base. So we'll read all the files again to get up to date. I could have actually told him to do that, but he's also doing that by himself, which is very good. Let's see if we can find the file quickly and then upgrade the color picker. Again, just to remind you maybe, while the agent is coding away, the color picker currently looks like this. Once I click here, we have those main colors to be selected from, or I can enter a hex code. But of course, maybe I don't know my hex code, or I want to dial in the colors more precisely. So I would like there to be added a gradient scheme, color palette, however you want to call it. And we don't want it to start on those colors, because then if I would click generate, it would add those colors, and they're probably not your brand colors or mine. In that sense, it's important to upgrade that one. All right, perfect. The agent is done. I have successfully upgraded your color selector. Let's have a look. This is our thumbnail generator. Let's look at the color. There you go. No color optional. There you go. At least that becomes clear. Now we are talking. You can choose. That is a much better experience. I love that. Okay, so you can choose your colors. I'm very happy with this state. That's how I actually imagine it. Let's quickly git commit and move to the next chapter. All right, chapter 3, time to make the app look beautiful. Let's get rid of the boring white background and give it a cool, modern, dark purple gradient look. Also, let's add some cool Glassmorphism effects to the cards and make the app look premium. Just as a quick reminder, this is how the app looks right now. That's the white background I'm talking about, and I just want everything to look way more modern and premium. Let's now upgrade the entire look, mainly the background of the main page, which is now all white. I want it to be in a dark purple with a light gradient to make it look modern. I want you to add some Glassmorphism effects on the cards, so the cards look premium. And I also want you to make sure that all text is in white and bright so we can read it on the dark background. Let's make the app look modern. All right, let's send this off. And I think now that's going to be a big change. I'm very curious if the dark purple will look cool, but I think with the changes I have in mind, it will just give the whole app a premium touch, a premium feel. I'm excited for those changes on our road to get the app to a modern look and upgrade all the UI and UX. Now let me update the main page. Now let me update the labels and be readable on dark background. Amazing. It's updating everything. Right. All right. All right. Okay, there are some errors that the agent is handling, but step by step, we are going somewhere. The agent has completed the modern UX transformation complete. I am excited. Let's have a look. Let's look at the thumbnail generator, and oh wow, has AI delivered. We got the dark background. We have the nice preview of our thumbnail. We can iterate between create from scratch, YouTube URL, or upload one of our own or some inspiration that we downloaded. We can here insert a prompt that's nicely readable in white. We have here then the generation history that will be filled in the next chapter. And here I have the secondary settings that I can do, which is a title. I can add my brand colors and I can generate the thumbnail. Well, I think that looks pretty awesome. And what's this on the top? Ah, wow. We have a dark mode and a light mode. And actually, I do like both. What's actually your preference? Comment below. Do you like dark or bright? Both looks pretty cool. All right, let's go to the last chapter and add AI and some real functionality. In this chapter, we're going to add the Nano Banana AI key from Google Gemini, and we're going to add some real functionality and actually check out if that works. If we can upload a thumbnail and we can make new variation, if we can create it from scratch, and all of that, what the app is supposed to be doing. In this step, you are tasked with adding my Google Gemini Nano Banana API key. I will share that with you in a second, and I want you to put it in a .env private folder and make sure that this is part of the git ignore file that is not getting pushed to the public code. All right, then I'm gonna open my other browser on my other screen. That's where I have Google Studio open. I'm gonna copy a API key that I just created prior, and I'm gonna add it here to the prompt. I'm gonna blur this out because this is my private API key, but it should add the functionality. Let's send this off, and we will see that the agent is creating a .env file. Those are generally the ones that are in git ignore and not being pushed, but I mentioned it again just to be double sure. It's actually creating it at the moment. Very good. All right, perfect. Now I want you to actually connect my Google Nano Banana key to the front end functionality. So if I'm gonna write a prompt, I want it to generate one new iteration that then shows up in the history bar. This should also be 16:9 in small. The variation should be clickable. Every time I give a prompt, there is added one variation. Only the initial step is questionable, whether I upload already the first version myself that I want to iterate, or if I want to create it from scratch, as you will see if you look at the code base. But yeah, please add this functionality so we can try it out. That's an exciting prompt. Finally, we got to the step where AI is actually going to create something. If this works, I'm very, very happy. And I'm already actually really going to use that for my own YouTube channel, where I need to create thumbnails all the time. So this will be a very handy app. If you have any ideas what you would want me to build after that, let me know. I have some ideas in my head, but I'm also very excited to hear your opinions, and maybe I can pick that up and we can develop something cool together that you have in mind. Okay, now I will set up the Gemini API integration. Let me start by installing the necessary packages. Okay, so I had a look at the code, and now it will actually implement the Google API key. Let's see if that works. Perfect, your Gemini API is completed, ready to test. Here's what I implemented. What's been done? Installed Google Generative AI key, and so far, yeah, I think we understand your server is running at this. All right, let's check out if that really worked. I'm so excited. Let's go to the upload function, and I will upload a old thumbnail of mine, drag it here. That's it. From episode 3. I will give it a prompt. Please make my hair purple. And then I need to go all the way down. Okay, that's actually another not so nice UI experience to have to scroll all the way down to generate the thumbnail. That button should come up. And maybe you can have the settings on the side. But that's something to look in further. Right now, it didn't work, unfortunately, and we have an issue. So I'm going to open that. I'm going to copy the issue. I'm going to go back in here and copy that here. That hasn't worked. I tried it out, but I didn't get any variation. I didn't get a new version. Also very important, I uploaded a thumbnail, which is the original one. Once I generate, I want to have the new thumbnail in the big preview, and the old one goes down as a history. There also should be a generation loading state, but let's have a look at the mistake. I tried to copy the issue, but I'm not sure if I did. Let's see. We also see here the files are red. That means there is a problem. So let's have the agent investigate. So I had to stop the video for a second because it was going too much back and forth. The cursor agent was not able to read my API key correctly. How I was able to solve it was to go to the Gemini chat agent and ask him for documentation and copy pasted his reply into the cursor agent. And with that information, basically how to make a Gemini Google AI API key work in cursor, that documentation then helped the cursor agent to finally solve it. So we finally have a working app. So looking here now, as you can see, we can drop a file, or we can paste a URL, or we can just describe and generate from scratch. And it's actually working. Let me quickly get a file and drop it here. Look, there you go. Here is an old thumbnail from one of my videos, episode 3. And if I say now, make my hair purple, and I press generate thumbnail, it is loading, and it is actually hopefully gonna, look at that, turn my hair purple, and my iteration checks out here. And I'm gonna ask again, for example, make me very, very sad, potentially cry. Generate thumbnail. Now it's loading. Before, the loading state wasn't there, but okay. Still not everything perfect, but it worked. I had purple hair, and look at that. Now I have a sad face and I'm crying. So my thumbnail iterator works really, really nice, and I'm super excited about this. Really, I can here then also go back and revert to one of the states before. Look at that, and then iterate from there. Really nice. I can start fresh as well if I want to just clear everything. And look, let's try to generate from scratch. Give me a thumbnail with blue background and mountains. All right, let's generate the first image from scratch. This should also be working, which is basically then the generation modus if we don't want to upload or iterate. Okay, it gave us something a little bit more like this. But anyways, it is creating and changing the images and iterating, which is absolutely fantastic. And we can do the same in the dark mode. Look at that. We have 2 modi created today. upgraded the functionality and the UX. I think we are at a state where we can definitely add backend in next episode. All right, that brings us to the end of the episode. I think it was super exciting. We upgraded the UI and UX completely. Now it's actually a functioning app. We added the AI to it, and I'm very, very excited. I hope you guys are also excited like I am. For the next episode, we are gonna create the backend to it. So there will be authentication. You will be able to log in. Your images will be saved. You can download. The files will be stored and all of that. So I'm very excited. If you want to see more and follow the journey along, please subscribe and comment something below.